We're going to revisit perimeter this morning. So we know that perimeter is the distance around something, like if I wanted to put a piece of lace around a tablecloth. We know how to calculate perimeter by adding all of the sides together, but we also learned in a previous video last week how to find the missing side length if we know what the perimeter is. So if I have a figure that looks something like this, okay, and if I tell you that the perimeter is we'll say 19. And let's say that we knew that this was 5, and this was 6, and this was 1. We can find this missing side length by adding up what we do know. So 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 1 is 12, and then subtracting from our total. It's just like when we have a part-part whole, where we know our total is supposed to be 19, and we knew that part of it was 12, we know that we need to subtract because we're looking for this missing piece. So 19 minus 12, of course, is 7. So this side length would be 7. Okay? So we can take that a step further, and we can look at some problems where maybe they didn't give us a picture that's already labeled, and it's our job to do the labeling. So let's say that I had a triangle. So we're going to draw a triangle with a perimeter of 45 inches. Okay? And I know that 2 of my sides are each 20. Okay? And I want to know what this missing side length is. Now, on a task card, it would not have had this picture here, and we would be expected to draw that picture and label it. Because if you don't draw it and label it, sometimes it's hard to visualize, okay? Now, maybe a triangle is easier to visualize, but when you get into larger figures or figures that are not what we would call regular, where they're not just a normal triangle, square, polygon of some kind, and where they're really strangely drawn, it's really hard to visualize that, so let's draw it. Okay, so we're going to add what we know. 20 plus 20, of course, is 40. So that's just like in our strip diagram. We know our total is supposed to be 45. We know that part of it is 40, and we're looking for that missing piece. So that means that we need to subtract to find what's missing. So 45 minus 40, and we can do that without even writing it down, of course, is 5. So this missing side length would be 5 inches. So if it does not give you a picture, you are expected to draw the picture. Let's try one more example, this time with a different shape. So let's say that we have a figure that has 4 sides. Let's say it's an art project, and it has 4 sides, okay? So the total distance around the project is 100 inches. So that means our perimeter is going to be 100, okay? So then we have a 4-sided art project. So we're going to make it look kind of weird here. Okay, and we'll connect that there. Notice that this side actually is longer than this side. Okay, it is a trapezoid because these are parallel, but it's a little bit differently drawn. Okay, so let's say that one side is 32 inches. Let's say that one side is 27 inches. Let's say that one side is 22 inches. And we're going to find this side. Now keep in mind, my picture may not be drawn perfectly where all the numbers actually look like they would work when we get done, but this is just an example. Also proof that your pictures don't have to be perfect. You just need to actually get them labeled correctly, because that's what really matters here, is getting them labeled correctly. Okay, so again, we're going to add what we know. So we have 32, and just like with perimeter, as we use a number, we're going to mark it off so that we don't skip anything. 22 and 27. So we're going to add those together. So we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to regroup. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know 81 out of our 100. So if we drew our little strip diagram again, There's our whole, which is supposed to be 100. We know 81. We're looking for this missing piece here, so we're going to subtract. So 100 minus 81. Of course, we can't do 0 minus 1, but uh-oh, our neighbor's a 0. No problem. We're going to go to our next neighbor. We're going to take from him. So that 100 became 10 tens, but we still can't subtract here. But look, our neighbor has something to borrow from now. So instead of 10 tens, now he's going to have 9. But that 10 that I just took from him, we're going to regroup that into 10 ones. 10 minus 1, now we can do that. 9 minus 8 is 1, and of course 0 minus 0 is 0. So our missing side length is 19. And if we wanted to check to make sure that that worked, we've already added these three together right here. So let's add the 19, make sure we get 100, which we do. So you can always double check your work when you're working with addition and subtraction, or for that matter, multiplication and division. But for perimeter, you can always double check your work by making sure that all your sides add up to that perimeter that we're looking for.